Hello, Jeffrey.
How's it going, Cryptic?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
It's a lovely, lovely day. It's a lovely,
It's a
lovely
beautiful
night.
day. Have you seen these UFO stuff lately? It's been crazy the past couple of days.
I've seen. You're talking about the Joe Rogan stuff recently?
No, everything, the entire internet, everything that's out there.
Yeah, I've seen like cable news all of a sudden get kind of crazy about it. I don't know what to think. It's weird.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to warm up the population to it. Like it's coming in your mom and dad
Yeah.
pop show, like where Bill O'Reilly's old
Like,
time
like
slot.
we're getting a little like
Yeah.
massage, like.
Oh Jesus, I guess
We're getting a little what you call it?
warmed
like
up to
warmed
it.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I feel like, especially with all the movies lately, like, especially like the Avengers, they really like normalize like different species and stuff, and pop culture has like normalized this since like Star Trek.
Free Wakanda.
Like since like Roswell and like
What
the
was
1940s.
what was the damn thing?
What?
The Black Panther aliens.
Oh.
Free. What is it?
Oh no, the country's called Wakanda. They're not aliens. They're
Free
Earth.
Wakanda.
Yeah, those things like that.
I thought that was I didn't watch the movie. I thought those were aliens.
No, those are like it's like a hidden nation in Africa. But like he fights aliens and helps fight aliens.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. That's cool, man. What do you make of the whole concept to begin with? It freaks me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
My whole concept of aliens, like, it's emerged from like my own personal theories and the stuff that I've read online. But I would say, I don't know if you remember this video called Spore. It came out when we were like in lower school.
I
Like the
do.
2000s.
I feel like we traded notes back in like fifth grade or something about it.
Yeah, Spore. I feel like that's literally like the process of aliens, and I feel like they don't like willingly communicate with us because like they see this as like a natural preserve area or something. Like we haven't made like a final step for them to contact us.
That would be a sad
Like
truth if that was the answer.
Yeah, like
I would hate that.
Like a UN of like aliens and like
Decided, fuck those guys over there. They're not
Yeah.
advanced enough for
yeah,
us.
Not yet. Like they haven't given the okay from like the UN of their galactic.
The
species.
Galactic UN.
That's probably the most like plausible answer I have.
I find that to be the least believable, believe it or not, because I don't know. I feel like if I was in a federation like that, if I had to put myself in that mindset of being so powerful, like the way like, you know, little kids lord over ants and like torment them,
Oh Jesus, yeah.
like I feel like at least one of those fucking cruisers would be like, screw this, I'm gonna go mess with the fucking humans. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach them about like crazy. Maybe they already have. Maybe every world war or like crazy ideology was like implanted into like Marx and shit. Like when he had like a bad night dream, that was really just an alien fucking with him.
Oh, and maybe they
Like all
come
these
here-
rich people hoard the wealth from you.
Yeah.
Get all the proletariat masses together and take them, you know, storm the Bastille.
They definitely could have came here and like altered human history. Like I would say that a lot of my like knowledge about aliens is from like our family had the History Channel on like all the time, and if you watch
Ancient aliens.
yeah, if you watch the History
God.
Channel for more than like 4 hours in a row and it's past like 8 p.m. like there's some crazy conspiracy theories coming on that channel.
The History Channel turns into
Yeah.
its antithesis almost.
Yeah.
The History Channel becomes its anti-history,
Yeah.
and they like fight each other, which is the craziest thing. It's the most antithetical thing you can do on the planet to make a channel and then have programming on that channel sometimes to undercut that very channel's reason for existence. You know what I mean? If that makes sense to everybody.
my family used to say that they ran out of history to show, so now they're making up their own.
Right.
They're
Right.
trying to shape the future too. That channel has some crazy stuff, but I would say, like at least a small percent of it has to be somewhat true. Like, if they do like, out of 100 things that they possibly say, maybe at least like 2, 3, or 4 have some possibility of being true.
So who was it in your family that was like throwing that on? Was that your dad? Who would like throw on Asian aliens?
and then it was just in the living room constantly. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't home that much.
Like you guys, the whole family
Yeah.
got addicted to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Maybe-
crazy. I can see it happening, man. I remember people getting addicted to those. ghost hunter shows, for
Oh,
example.
yeah, we were never into that.
And like, but like I'm not saying like one is better than the other. I'm just saying like everybody has their like McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That one
yeah,
like bad
Big
thing
Flint
in their
was
life.
back in the day.
Yeah, that one like bad habit that they shouldn't have, but that they have it. Like some people just watch the Weather Channel 24/7. You know, like everyone has their little thing. Some people
Yeah.
can't get off reality television. That's an easy one to point out.
Exactly, yeah. Always keeping up with the Kardashians.
Never keeping up with the Kardashians. Never. You know what's crazy though? I think that like this topic is so big and the subject has so many different like intricacies and little side paths that the only way to get through it, I think, is to like kind of like branch it out. Like if we could start off with this, like I want to know if you think that aliens have ever visited this planet within
100%.
within the last like after like since Christ, like let's say
Yeah.
like AD, have they visited us at all?
Yeah,
Yes or
and
no?
in the past couple days, like, they have near video proof of it. It's just a matter of, like, what the next step of communication is.
What video? What? This is news. What video proof are you talking about?
You just look, the military has, like, they have videos of fighter jets, like, approaching things.
Like those little black saucers that they see.
And, like, things of the Pentagon have been released from military footage, and then the Pentagon's openly admit, like, we don't know of any type of physics or any earthly technology.
Like we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But my point
So
is like
that's technically unidentified flying object.
right. My only concern with something like that is like, how do we know that's not just a fucking rock that just went flying past the thing? You know what I mean?
Well, these things are like 30,000 feet up, most of these videos, and the Pentagon's literally admitting we don't have the technology we are not knowledgeable of the technology that made this object move and this curve and this from that push it that much inertia and that millisecond pop from here to there. And there's videos of these fighter jets like approaching them because they're in restricted space.
I don't want to sound like the Debbie Downer here because trust me, as we get later into this podcast, I think I'm going to be more like talking about crazier shit than you are about this. But as far as that like little niche part of it is concerned with like the military and stuff like that, number one, it's crazy that now in 2020 they're like trying to like, you know, give us some evidence here and like trying to give us like some talking points about it. It just almost feels like such weird timing. And number two is, I don't know how many times I've heard of some crazy phenomenon that if you just you know don't use your little human brain that is just so that it can't think exponentially, it's so limited in its thinking right off the bat, and you just do your like sit down calmly, grab an encyclopedia, you know, and figure it out that way, how many things can like become like make sense to you. Like in Haiti or whatever it was, they had like a situation where there's just birds just like dying all over the place, like hundreds of birds just like scattered across the beach, and like the religious people like the Vatican like thought that this was like an end of days sign, like this was one of like their 6 signs or 7 signs that the apocalypse was coming, and then it turned out to just be like typhoons or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's always, I've noticed that it comes up, but if this was real, this would be pretty insane.
I'll show you the video clip.
No, I have seen the video clip. I'm saying if it's not, if there's no real scientific explanation for it, that would be insane.
Well, a lot of our minds try to explain, like you said, hit Wikipedia, try to explain like things we see, but sometimes we can't explain them. Like you see an object moving and you think, oh, what are the physics behind that? Like this object could literally be moving in and out from the 3rd to the 4th dimension. Like I believe they have that power. Like a lot of physicists with.
So you're like totally like over the cliff with this.
Yeah,
like
I know
you're on
bit
board.
about it,
Like you're done. You're done listening to like science, like quote unquote scientists, PhDs go on television and like give you like explanations. You're like, nah, it's beyond your comprehension. Stop trying to explain this.
They try to explain like, oh, they push and pull gravity and they shoot, like a UFO is moving and they shoot a gravity wall behind. Like people have all these theories and stuff, but like think about it, if you were moving from the 2nd to the 3rd dimension. From like the 2nd dimension is a piece of paper.
Maybe we should explain that to everybody. Like start from the first and work your way up, just so everyone understands.
The 2nd dimension is one plane. So
right.
In the 2nd dimension, imagine you were able to see into this piece of paper, which is a plane. You can pick here. That's this iPad. So on this iPad, this is a 2-dimensional plane. So I can
Imagine
see
it
the
as
two.
just a surface. Yeah.
So I can, as a 3rd-dimensional being, I can put my finger here, and then I can pop up over here in the middle of a second.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were a being that lived on this 2-dimensional plane,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't be able to like understand why someone was here and then popped up over here.
If you were a two-dimensional
being.
Yes.
You wouldn't understand. So what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is that from the 3rd dimension that we're in, these people have like 4th dimensional powers, and they can see the 3rd dimension, and they're like popping in and out and moving their spacecraft wherever they want.
Yeah, so just really quickly, so 1st dimension, just to piggyback off what you're talking about, add a little bit of context for anyone who doesn't know. The 1st dimension is usually considered length, right?
Yeah, or one point or something.
Yes.
Like
2nd dimension is generally considered width, and then if you're living in a 2nd dimension, you have the length and the width. Those are doodles generally.
Yeah.
A piece of paper. Thin is nothing. The 3rd dimension is going to be your z-axis. That's going to be your depth.
And those dimensions are the same thing on a 3D printer. Like this is your z, this is your x, and this is your y.
Yeah. So just to give you an explanation, if you can see this printing in the background, that's your 3D modeling.
A lot of physics and
your 3D.
And
we're 3D. Everything's 3D.
Yeah, a lot of physics and like creation and engineering. When you're able to have like a broad knowledge of everything, you can like push yourself into other topics. So like reading about UFOs, like then when I came to the concept of 3D printing and you see an X, Y, and Z plane, you're like, oh, I kind of understand that.
Yeah, it starts to make a little sense for you.
Oh,
the 4th dimension next is generally considered time.
I'm in geometry. Okay,
Sorry?
go ahead. Yeah, the 4th dimension, time.
Oh, yeah. Time. And Stephen Hawking, bless his soul, I remember watching a documentary from him where he talked about how there's a new theory about time, that it's kind of invisible to us. The same way that atoms are invisible to us, these little time bubbles are invisible to us. And that would be the future of time travel, which is a whole other podcast. We're not going to get into that here. But if you could open them up for long enough and fast enough and walk through them, that would be the same thing as time travel. And that, is, in his mind, was the quickest way to do that. So we just listed off 4 dimensions there. So you think that these aliens have found a way somehow to get from one dimension to another almost seamlessly.
Or they're like 4th dimensional beings and we're only 3rd dimensional beings. Or they have the technological. Or they had that like, millions of years advantage of technological, and they figured out how to seep into that.
Right.
Wormholes. This is sort of like
Star Trek a little bit.
I did a different way of explaining wormholes, like but in the summed up manner. Like if you were able, like the string.
Yeah, the string theory model.
Instead of. That's like when you're moving from the 3rd to the 4th. You can just pick one point and bring the other 2 together.
Yes, and it's not like you're breaking the laws of physics in the sense that you're not breaking the speed of light. The speed of light will still always be the fastest speed on Earth until scientists come back 50 years later and go, whoops, we were wrong on that one. But no, for right now, that's still the laws. It's just that you're thinking of it more as place, not speed. You know? If that makes sense.
There's another theory about how they travel is like, let's say I have a flashlight, and then when I turn on the flashlight, it pushes light. And then in like 300 million miles per hour, whatever the speed is of light, it shows up there. They figured out a way to add like mass to those particles, so when they turn on the light, the flashlight just shoots the other way, and it pushes the light that way, so you would be able to move at the speed of light. If you were added mass, but it would obliterate anything in that direction and everything in that direction.
Yeah, light does technically have mass to it, but it's an infinitesimal number.
I don't think it has any mass, does it?
It does have mass to it. Light does have mass to it, but it's so infinitesimal that it's less than air.
Imagine if you had the technology to go in there and tweak how much the mass and add weight to it. So when you could push it.
Well, that's what gamma rays are and things like that.
It would. You could push it and add it to propulsion instead of like
lasers. The U.S. military. This is probably going to black flags here in a minute. The U.S. military is very interested in lasers, ladies and gentlemen. lasers, okay?
I think they have them on ships, on Navy ships right now.
Yeah, but not just the fact that they can be used as a weapon, but even to like push things away, like that exactly what you're saying, like
Yeah.
adding more mass to a light. That's kind of what the theory of lasers is for the military at some
Exactly.
point.
But the rocket is stationary and it's pushing the light.
Exactly.
Imagine if the light was powerful enough, it pushed
like a propulsion
the light,
system.
Yeah, like on the bottom of a rocket.
Damn, that'd
Like
be crazy.
You put a bunch of flashlights at the bottom of a rocket, but they all shot mass out at one end.
Just goes
And it
up.
would just go at the light speed.
That'd be wild.
You would have to have like a clear path. You'd have to be like technological enough to know like there's no asteroids in this path for this
Right.
millisecond.
Right.
Boom. Or else if you hit something, your ship would get like obliterated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just wild to think about. You're in the camp of they've visited us before. I think they have. I don't know if necessarily they've revealed themselves.
Yeah.
Do you think that these are like friendly ghosts, friendly aliens? Do you think that they are neutral?
Well-
Do you think they mean to harm us? What would be your best bet?
We don't know that they're gonna harm us till they actually do in like a Battle of LA in Los Angeles. Did you ever see that movie? Type thing happens
War
where
of Worlds type thing.
they're
Yeah.
coming and they take all of our water because the water is a precious resource, and we're shooting them like guerrilla warfare.
But if they're the
But
type of UN
it would've
aliens that you're
happened
talking
already.
about, then
Oh.
they wouldn't be interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to sort of explains why we haven't been attacked so far. Like if we were attacked that moment, then we know they're hostile. But we haven't been attacked yet, and they've let us be.
So
They probably
basically, you
think
feel
it's
like
like-
the lack of the attacks maybe leans more towards the camp of neutrality, or that they're
Yeah.
friendly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there's probably like an international rule. Like, let's say like we have rules set up like you can't just go and slaughter a bunch of whales, like, or you can't slaughter a bunch of gorillas. Like they probably see us like that. Like you can't go in and just start wiping out people in like this stage of civilization.
Yeah.
Like they probably have humanitarian, but a different word for it.
No
like,
Japanese whale fleets
Yeah.
that come into the U.S.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
But on an international level, like they probably have rules set up. Like this is a preserve.
Yeah.
And they probably treat it as like a social studies experiment. Like these people figured out a way to like shoot an image to a phone and get a podcast and ship it across the earth. Like, and they did it in like a couple spins around.
Like they
the sun.
recognize we're not monkeys, but they also don't think of us as
Yeah.
equals yet. They think of us as just humanoid or like alienoids.
Yeah,
I
or else
guess,
they
at
would have
that
made
point.
contact by now. Like
Possibly.
they probably did the calculation on whatever supercomputers they have and said like, oh, if we make contact with these people, the whole society is just gonna burn down to anarchy and the stock market would go down 99%, and then everyone would just start killing each other, and we would ruin this planet for 100,000 years or something like that.
So here's my perspective on it. I think that the universe is so big, like it hurts your brain to think about how big it is.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with
how
this.
big the universe is. That it's mathematically impossible that what is happening right here can only happen right here at this time.
Yeah, that's everyone's view. Yeah.
Like there's well, not everyone. There's still that percentage of people who
Yeah.
think that we're the
True.
God's children, and that's it, and
Yeah.
and everything else is horseshit around us and dirt and trash and just cold space. No. There are once we found out that suns exist on other solar systems, that was pretty much the end of the game as far as those skeptics are concerned, in my opinion.
Oh, true.
It is that's all you need. You need heat and water. If you have
Yeah.
that, you're in the game. And there's so many examples of solar systems out there that it would be mind-boggling to think that this wouldn't have happened at least one more time. I think it's happened at least 5,000 or more times.
And there's other like possibilities for forms of life. Like it doesn't have another place with life doesn't have to look exactly like this. Like
That's the
it
scary
could be
part.
like 120 degrees on that place. It could be filled with lava and maybe like a different type of life form, like forms and exists. It
Here's
doesn't
what
really
I
have to
would
be
love
green.
personally, and I know that this is probably not what's going to happen, but I'd love it if Earth was like what you're talking about, like the Galactic Federation. Like it would be crazy if Earth was like the guys who started that. Like the other alien planets that we found were still in like the Renaissance era and stuff like that, and we had to like Sherpa
Yeah.
them along to where we are now.
Well, that's Yeah, that's such
That's
like
an unlikely possibility,
but it's one of the possibilities. Like we're the first, and like our set of values, like Bill of Rights and Ten Commandments, whatever, like human
become the norm.
Yeah, become the norm, and like this civilization is like destined to be and form like a galactic civilization.
We'd have like galactic
that's
Mormon
like
missionaries
assuming
and stuff sending around.
Yeah, that's like a very human ideal though, because like we always assume like we're the center, like we're the Earth and the sun revolves around us.
We're a fucking
like, but it's
selfish,
yeah.
selfish, egotistical race of people.
It's possible that like
that's what that comes
the
from.
life of the universe is like trillions of years.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, it is. Yeah.
But we're only like 20 billion years, and this Earth is only 4 billion years old. Like we could be like at the very early stages, and we got lucky to be the first. And maybe there's some others around there that are first.
Because you got to think, it takes so long for these outer places to cool down a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we were like one of the first viable cool down spots. Like obviously we're not as close to the Big Bang as other places are, other solar systems. But maybe those ones didn't have the viable conditions for life, and we cooled down the fastest, and we evolved the quickest. Yeah,
stability is the biggest thing.
It
Something
could
else
be.
smacking you.
I wouldn't be surprised if we find like tons of just microplanets. Like we just go and it's like, oh,
a bunch of planets.
another bacteria here. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's most likely what's gonna happen.
I feel like we're gonna get like 1,000 of those, and then like out of every 1,000, we'll find like one.
Maybe
like,
one
cool.
out of every like 10,000.
Yeah, like we'll find like monkeys with like 3 arms or something
more.
on one. Yeah.
That's definitely possible, and like those areas will be designated too at the same way.
Yeah, like we would have to start like enforcing like laws there.
Yeah, but that's if we were the first ones. Hopefully, there's other ones. But the universe, like
no
you said,
mining on Pandora,
is so vast. Like, think of all the grains of sand in the beach. Like, there's millions of stars out there, billions of stars.
There are.
So like, even if there is another civilization, they're probably like so far away that it doesn't even matter right now.
So for this podcast, let's couch that theory as being a possibility. It could be, let's couch we're the only ones out there, like, not even worth talking about anymore. It's completely ridiculous. And let's couch the one that we're the first or pretty much the first, because those are boring and, I mean, come on. Let's talk about the advanced civilizations, the ones that have like already figured out how to become invisible, flying cars, the whole thing, like the Jefferson civilizations. How many of those would you guess there are out there if we're dealing with that model?
Well, if they're out there, they're definitely not any visible in the Milky Way, because we have, or at least these bands of the Milky Way, because we have crazy telescopes that can zoom in on planets. And we would be able to see like stuff getting shot off planets. Like that's how advanced our telescopes are.
Not only that, but since the 60s, we've been sending out radio waves from this one big tower in, I think, New York or something,
even
upstate New York.
Than that, radio waves have escaped.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like the actual mission to do so, and it literally has a broadcast that says like hi, like we're humans, and we give them like the GPS coordinates of Earth, and we're like, if you ever are friendly and want to come visit us, check us out, yo. Which, by the way, I don't know if that was the best message to send out.
I know, yeah. There was they sent out a satellite in like the 80s or the 90s with like a record player disc on it, and it had like a picture of man and like where to find us and like the sounds of Earth and saying hello in like 180 languages, and it was on like a gold-plated disc, and they put it on a satellite.
That was actually
shot it out there.
That was actually Andy Warhol was brought on to do the creative design for that. Like he took pictures of people, and then he ended up leaving in disgust like a week before it went out, because instead of showing everybody in the true form, the naked form, they put little fig leaves on our genitalia and stuff.
Yeah, to be like PC. And
well, like the politicians were like, we can't send this out there. There's like kids and girls and stuff. And Andy Warhol was furious. He left. He was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. What are we gonna have clothes on when we it's the human form.
The aliens ever do come, they're stripping us naked and
seeing
us,
if eating us
up like cattle.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, let's save that eventuality for the end of the podcast. Let's still assume that these bad boys.
We'll be right back.
That these bad boys are at least neutral, or they don't care about us.
Yeah, but time is like relative. Like it's continuing. Like at one point, like the year 2200, they might visit us, and then they're hostile. Like,
What-
we don't know
Yeah.
their plans. Like,
What-
there could be, like, a space Hitler out there or something like that.
What's crazy too is that we've Space Hitler. I like that. We'll get back to that. What's crazy too is that we've sent out like satellites on just like death missions. You've heard of this, right?
Yeah.
They're called like the Mars One or something. They're death missions. We send them out, and then once their fuel dies, we just let spatial drift just take them further and further out of the
Yeah.
atmosphere. The farthest one, as I understand, has gotten past Pluto, and it's still to this day sending like signals
Yeah,
back
but
to us.
that's the worst ping on Earth.
What do you mean?
Like the ping signal. of the
Oh,
internet
yeah,
connection.
you're not playing video games off that one. That's not happening.
The latency is hours long.
Yeah, but it's coming back, and it's telling us, like,
Days, probably.
yeah, and it's telling us that it's still alive. And that's the only thing that kind of messes with me a little bit. Like, I would have assumed that at this point, like, a passing by spaceship would have been like, the hell is this piece of trash? And just like, ping, you know?
The universe is so vast that it's going to take, like, decades and decades for it to even get to another, like, it will not get to another solar system in our lifetime. That's how spread apart everything is.
In our lifetime, it will get to another solar system,
Well,
but it's
how
we're gonna
many
be
years?
like
You
we're
should
gonna be
look
like
that
in our
up.
70s when it happens.
Oh,
You know what I
Jesus,
mean?
That's so long from now. And that's
Yeah.
just one solar system. So that tells you how far apart everything is. Like, I feel like there's no, like, authoritarian, like, alien regimes, really, that are just taking over planets because the
Really, you
universe-
don't think so?
Not in this galaxy because they would have came here already. Like,
Well-
and I think there's so many planets that we've observed that are totally barren that, like, there's a lot of picks. Like, it's like there's a tiny little town on the hill. Like, imagine if there was only, like, 2 or 3 or 4 people on Earth and the entire Earth was up for grabs. That's what it feels like now.
Listen,
Like, we and then maybe 2 or 3 of other civilizations might be the only ones in this Milky Way, and we
Yeah.
don't have a way to communicate with them. But the amount of actual galaxies out there, there's definitely, like, you know in Star Wars how they say a galaxy far, far away?
Yes.
In other galaxies, there are 100% authoritarian and...
but let me just make
But
one
it takes-
argument
it's
for the.
impossible
Let
to
me
go
just make
galaxy
one
galaxy.
argument for them being some bad ones
Yeah.
here. Spore was a great example, right off the top of the podcast.
What a great game.
Do you remember in the
Best
fifth?
space game.
Do you remember in the fifth evolutionary level when you go space travel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how it's based on the Milky Way, that there's the spirals and
Yeah.
all that stuff? You remember how long it would take not just to colonize your own solar system, but to colonize the one over? That was
Yeah.
like, that game, in terms of like, if you want to put like hours into just a mindless game, pick up a copy of Spore and get to the fifth
Probably like
level.
$5 right now, free.
Probably. Get the first 4 or like whatever, you can get through that in a day. Get to the 5th thing. It's endless. It's literally like 600 days. You
I remember
couldn't
I built like
colonize.
100 countries and it was too much to manage. And I
It's
just
re-
had like a little tiny wing of one band.
Yes.
Like imagine like that, there's probably like 100 times as many planets as that
Exactly.
game.
That's why
There's
I'm
just so much space out there.
exactly. That's why I'm trying to say is that there's a possibility that one of these resource-hungry nations that just needs to completely like
Yeah.
take the cores out of planets to feed their people with energy needs could be out there, but they're just on another band of the solar system that we are. They're on another one of
Not
the
in this
legs.
galaxy. We would have been able to
I mean,
see
at the
it.
solar system in the galaxy
A
that
different
we're on.
galaxy.
No, on the Milky Way.
We would have seen them. We have telescopes that would have noticed stuff like that.
But would they? Because we see supernovas every day, and you know what the scientists just say? Oh, that's a crazy supernova out there. Let's get some pictures. They don't
Yes,
say
but
like
if-
supernova. That means that there's an alien hungry species out there that wants
If
to
there's
take
like
its
a
resources.
crazy, if like let's say a civilization was sucking the life out of a planet,
Yeah.
you would be able to notice, hey, this planet's here and now it's gone.
We know we do notice that, but we just pass it off as supernovas or like spatial collapse or whatever you
Yeah,
call
but
it.
you would see like one of the biggest theories of how they would capture the sun is they would put like a giant solar panel in front of a sun, and you would be able to see like irregular dark spots moving over. Like you would see like giant spaceships leaving planets with these telescopes.
That's tough to capture the sun's energy. Like
Yeah.
we just talk. I remember as a kid, you used to just like talk about it. Like, oh yeah, I'll burn some eggs on the surface of the sun. It's not even like it's like too hard to comprehend. It like you get within a mile of that thing, you're already dead.
Well,
You know
the
what I mean?
Mercury's still there. So imagine if we put like So they aim the telescope and then they look at a planet and they see and they compare it with like backlight and they can see stuff that would be coming off. They would be able to see like a giant spaceship coming off.
No, I know. That's what I'm
Or,
saying.
like-
I don't think anyone's harvesting suns anytime soon. That's some crazy super science fiction stuff right there.
Well, if they were on the level of moving between multiple planets and they have 20 colonies,
Yeah.
I think that they would have some type of way to harness like renewable energy like that.
No, they would. They would take the cores of the planets. This is actually the game. What is it called? Dead Space 2. Have you played Dead Space the series?
I haven't.
The whole thing is that Earth got so just power hungry or resource hungry that they just start sapping things out of other planets. And what they found was like ancient aliens, like locked in like almost like the Ice Age.
Oh,
And then
jeez.
they released them, and they're horrible. They're bacteria that like come inside you and make you into like a half human, half alien
Weird.
predator.
What's
It's
the name
weird.
of that?
Dead Space.
Oh,
I know you're trying to get into computer gaming. Actually, that might be one you want to pick
Yeah,
up.
yeah, for sure. If I got the time.
Yeah, for sure. It's a scary game too.
Yeah.
Like, it's considered one of the more scary games. How's your band, by the way?
Oh,
Shout
this
out
is
to
like-
Bang. Shout out to Bang. Please sponsor us. We're not shilling for sponsorships, but we're shilling for sponsorships. How is it?
This is actually pretty good. The cotton candy flavor, like
Yeah.
the energy is pretty good. I was pretty tired.
You
today.
look like a jackrabbit right now. You're so hyper.
Oh,
You're like
man.
bouncing off
You're
the
giving me
walls.
sarcasm. But it's like clear. Like most energy drinks.
How much more do you think you're gonna need to drink before
probably-
you start getting like crazy?
I think
on
I've done.
stream?
I would probably have to drink the whole thing. I'm only gonna do like 2/3. But this drink is like clear. It looks like water,
Can
and
I
it
have a
doesn't
sip?
taste like gasoline. Here, yeah, take it from
Can I
here.
take some? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Coronavirus,
COVID.
guys, watch out.
Yeah. I like
This
this
tastes like
podcast.
a slushy or something that like melted.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It tastes like a cotton candy slushy.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna be like all jittery for the rest of the podcast. No. Okay, so we talked about how many do you think that there are? I don't think you answered me that. Of
There's
the
probably-
smart ones.
In the whole universe, there's probably
No.
thousands.
In our immediate range, like
Inside
in
this
like
galaxy?
this
We don't
galaxy
know.
and the closest two. How
I
about
feel
that?
like we might have seen one already. If like there might be some that are on our level, a couple.
So you think like maybe zero in this galaxy?
Yeah, because we would have heard their radio signals. Like we're getting to that range where some scientists are getting very depressed. Like they know the reality. They're like, there's none that are absolutely our neighbors.
Mm.
Like it's barren.
And we say neighbors very loosely because to get to the tip to tip of the Milky Way
Of,
galaxy
like one band
would
yeah.
be like 17 generations of
Yeah.
humans long.
It's also that they're not revealing themselves to us. Like but this is like more theoretical. Like because.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the past couple days, like we've seen proof, but like they definitely know how to hide. But all of a sudden, like I would say they were here like 2,000 years ago, and people were like, "Hey, that's an angel, you know, that's like out of this world, that's like godly or something."
That actually is a
Yeah.
great segue into my next question,
Yeah.
which was going to be, should we worship these people like gods?
No, I don't know, not like that. I think there's like an actual single God pushing towards life and goodness. But to finish the last point, I think it's more coming out, and the population is more getting exposed because like we have iPhones, especially like the past 10
Right.
years. Like the iPhone came out in what 2007, and the camera on that phone versus the camera today, and just we've been pushing in like 5 years from now, like the $200 phone is going to be an iPhone 10, and like everyone on Earth, even in like the poorest parts of this Earth, are going to have really good iPhone 7s, like that are worth $50. And those cameras are going to be 1080p, 4K.
Yeah, so
And
we don't
then-
have to rely so much on like the
stories.
old prospector who got drunk one
Yeah.
night and saw
And
some crazy shit.
So like the global citizen of the world, they have like their eyes on everything through phones, and like it's kind of like a collective
Right.
memory. Like it's like an extension of you. Like remember in Fallout 3, you had that thing on you,
Uh-huh.
a computer. Like a phone is like an extension of you.
Yeah, your
Excuse
Pit
me.
Boy.
Yeah, it gives you like unlimited memory. Like you can record a concert and you can remember it forever. Like it's like a tool.
That would be fun. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
crazy.
aliens definitely have like crazy tools. Like in their spaceship, they have all the tools they can need.
I would agree with that statement. But back to the question of deity or not, because when we did a little bit of the Joe Rogan podcast, the Post Malone podcast, they brought up a very
Came out today,
they brought up a very interesting point. They were talking about Post I think was saying this. We always look to the heavens for answers.
Yeah.
Like since we were cavemen, and I mean we don't get to choose what the person or the thing looks like that's been giving us those answers. They gave us those answers. Is it not fair to say that if, like you just said, like 2,000 years ago, they might have looked at those people, thought they were angels? Is it not fair to say then that could be the basis for a religion or religious thought, and that maybe the book, like chapter and verse, isn't the same, but the reasoning that we came to think of a singular God and all that is because of these people coming down and like giving us information?
I think maybe a very small percentage of it was like that, and that's how, and probably a good percentage of the population saw stuff like that. And it's just natural to believe in something bigger than yourself. Like, a lot of people think maybe have like a God complex or something like that, but if you can humble yourself and like put yourself on like a smaller scale and know that there's always something larger than you, like you're like a little tiny thing spinning on a thing, and on an angle spinning around a giant ball, like you're really insignificant, and you need to submit yourself to like a higher power, and humans have been doing that for centuries, for millennia, and it's going to continue to happen.
The fucked up thing is, you and I both damn well know that if they ever come in more of a formal Hollywood type setting, you know, where there's like a red carpet and you like kind of walk down and stuff, you know that there's going to be that 20 to 30%, hopefully not higher, percent of the human population that is going to get on their hands and fucking knees and just start bowing down to this thing, you know?
Oh yeah, and create like a religious sect.
That's scary to me.
Yeah,
like the alienologists.
Which I think it might take a couple centuries before humans are really ready. So that's probably why they haven't like come down fully and given like a Hollywood type.
Yeah, unless we're worse 100 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. And they're probably like can tell, or if they're like fourth dimensional beings, they see like, oh, there will be a better time because the fourth dimension is time.
I don't know. I would almost think that they would want, like, we would have to be talking about basically philosopher kings here. If they have that kind of, like, wherewithal to not just know the future, know the past, know the present, but also be humble enough to not want to be like benevolent gods. Like, it's crazy to picture a civilization that is so science-focused that they're not interested in power. So
True.
So I could totally see some of them coming down here for that very purpose, because they know that we have some people who jump to the first cult that they see, and where they're going to be gullible as shit, and they're going to be bowing down and kissing their feet and rubbing their alien tentacles.
Yeah, something gross like that. There's definitely a lot of movies, like one of my favorite is District 9, where they sent like, have you seen that movie?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
They send like that refugee ship to South Africa, and it's filled with like,
that movie is almost like the reverse of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Like, what if they come to us?
So many questions.
What if they come to us as like immigrants, like political refugees? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they can't do any tasks, and they can't speak English.
And they go to like Botswana or something, as opposed to like New York or China or some other major nation. You know?
Yeah, and because they don't really know it. There's so many different possibilities.
That's a great movie. It just takes science fiction to a different angle.
It gives a whole another spin on what actually could happen when we make contact. But the biggest thing is, I would say the biggest question is that we're gonna keep wondering until we make contact, is if they have nefarious like motivations, if they have bad intentions for us, or they really do treat us like, you know, a monkey sanctuary.
Just as I said that 30% of the population is going to revere them as benevolent gods, I think another 30 or more percent is going to be very hostile to this population to begin with.
Shoot them in the streets.
Like, we're looking at as aliens being like, oh, are they going to stomp on us like we're little beetles? I don't know, man. I think we might be the little fuckers with the guns and the derogatory talk that might be coming at them right off the bat without, you know, giving them a chance and using weapons and things like that to to fight them. I think there might be a 40% of this nation, of this human race, that could look at an alien arrival and think, that's a threat to my survival. I need to kill this thing.
Yeah, integration would be very hard. Like integration with anything is very hard. So I don't think that's why when they come, there might be a big power dynamic. Like they could be the overlords, or we have to submit. Like they use us to harvest, materials in the mountainside, or they burn us up for energy, or it could be like a there's a whole other side. It could be like the Matrix, and they just farm us like those little pods.
Yeah, we're either slaves. We're either slaves, or we're equals, which is probably the least likely. Or we become hostile towards them, or they're just like a total big brother, like just giving us gifts and dropping like stuff and like knowledge on us. Yeah, like they could just be like total, like a monk nation. I've seen that before.
Some people think has been happening, like the amount of technology since the 1940s. Like we were on like a steady line, and then since then we've kind of gone parabolic since World War II with like different technologies. Like who would have thought that they could have packed so much in the palm of your hand? Like things like this are the future. Like some people complain like, oh, we don't have flying cars yet. We don't have like flying skateboards, but we got the hoverboards.
It's necessity. It's necessity, though.
You have any information in the palm of your hands. Like we learned how to make this podcast from the palm of our hands.
Very true. It's necessity, though. That's why so many advancements came in that time period. You're talking about the 1940s, because there was the necessity for it. All of a sudden, the GDP of the United States or of any country wasn't the pie chart that you've seen a million times. It wasn't cut like 50% to build roads and highways and schools and police stations and broadband and all this stuff. No, it was like 100% to the state and the military might of this country, And so all of a sudden, these guys who needed contracts to build guns, they don't need those contracts anymore. They got contracts for the next 50 years. If they build it a little nicer, if they make it a little cleaner, if they make it shoot a little faster, a little more deadly, it's all needed.
Industrial complex.
Yeah, well, for that portion, for this thing that we're talking about, we created this demand. We bought iPhones at such a clip. Like the first iPhone that came out,
but is people were camping technology?
Out. No.
It could be.
No.
They could have dropped it like a big brother. You really believe a little monkey with a tool just 2,000 years ago made something like that? You didn't think we got
2,000 years ago? Like
no,
20,
like
10
the
years
same
ago.
person from 1900 who barely knew how to like clean the horse stall. Like
yeah, what about him?
In just 100 years, it had the ability to build something that tiny, a computer.
Oh, you mean like we did like a huge jump from 1900 to 2000?
If there was
has been a huge jump.
If there is any possibility of like a Big Brother type civilization dropping hints, it's like the invention of the computer.
I mean, maybe, but also
in that time area, right after Roswell.
I mean, I get Roswell, right? Yeah. I mean, maybe, but like, it's the money is so there too. Like, dude, people flock to buy records. Like, the music industrial complex exploded in the 80s and 70s and shit. And people, and all these things, like that became like the thing people spent their money on all of a sudden. If you got 20 extra bucks from cleaning your parents' garage as a kid, you went out and you bought a record 20, 30 years ago. And then that kind of explains the drive for the records. And then I think the same thing with iPhones. I think everything drives everything. And like green is the only color I'm concerned about, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, you have to kind of take yourselves out of this world of worrying about aliens and just keep going through with your purpose and like the ant colony. And just like keep producing and keep pushing society forward, because it's possible that we are the first ones and to push society and like the whole world forward as much as possible by creating as much as you can for the world, help out as many people as you can, really push the civilization as a whole forward. They have that mentality in like
man.
Yeah, and like collective countries like Japan, and so that's why they have no COVID cases. So
yes.
Different. So
I wish I was in Japan right now.
And speaking about the hive mind, I've never been there. I wish I could go one day.
Yes.
But like there is a possibility that when they make contact, like it's a total annihilation. Like when the European Westerners came here and they wiped out all the Indians. Like there were cities of 1 million people in like Ohio, around Columbus, Ohio, and things like that. And they had huge cities in South America, like the more famous with the Spanish conquistadors, but the ones in like New England and the Midwest, those Indians just mostly died from smallpox. Like when they come here, they could bring disease, like a different strain of a virus.
Oh,
like,
you mean
just,
the
like,
aliens could
guys
infect
right
us?
Yeah, but on accident. Like we didn't exactly infect the Indians on purpose, but there are stories.
It's a great thing to worry about, because think about how we still haven't figured out diseases our damn selves.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna bring in a whole other host and a whole other physiological system.
I think when two civilizations from different time periods meet together, like it always results bad in one. Like it's hard to be optimistic, but there's also we've explored.
There's a couple times that we've had like decently good interactions. I can think of like the silk trade was good for a little while until the bubonic plague hit. Yeah. And then it went really downhill fast. But like I do hear what you're saying. I'm curious more. So in this example, they've arrived. What are they looking like in your head? I think they're gonna look like us, just like a little taller and something.
Well, like the little green men are like think of if humanoids evolve, like you don't need your body because like you're hooked up to some machine and your subconscious is uploaded to the ship.
I don't like where this is going.
So like you're
scaring me, Jeffrey.
Your arms shrivel up, your legs shrivel up, and your head would get bigger because you would just be processing so much head stuff and concepts.
Yikes.
So like as each generation like of humans evolve, like imagine what a human looks 10,000 years from now when you don't have to do physical activity.
I think just less hairy, honestly.
Well, yeah, that. But the
Probably
different stages of evolution would force you to look like a little.
I think we're gonna look less hairy and we're gonna look darker.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have less testosterone in our systems, like in generally. Yeah. Like guys already have like less testosterone than they did like 200 years ago, like on average.
Yeah, the soy boys.
And the XY, like the Y chromosome, is losing its like.
Really, and the DNA strands.
Yeah, it was always smaller than the X chromosome. You guys probably know, like the X is very dominant, but the Y chromosome is like very small now, and it's getting smaller by like the generation. It's losing some of its genetic code. So some theories say that eventually we might not have a Y anymore. It just might be X's all over the place.
Yeah, things like that are possible, and why different paths in society, like, you know, in fiction, there's been speculation like, oh, what if like the women dominated society? And, like,
they will. The matriarchy is coming, men.
It could
and ladies who are watching.
There's definitely a lot of different paths for even civilization. Like, I just saw a CNN alert that Ruth Bader Ginsburg's in the hospital live, bringing you news right now.
Just now?
Yeah, just now. She's
Holy
in the hospital.
Crap. Guys, I wish I had a Chiron underneath. Breaking news.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring you news that's live during this podcast too.
Yeah.
So it's 9:15 p.m. on the East Coast. But like to give you this little news like that, like there's just small little things in society, small problems. Like you gotta focus on the things in your local community. Like if your school should get more taxes or not. Like there's like local things on your referendum in your ballot. Are you gonna legalize this? Are you gonna permit the funding for that park to get built?
Not to get too far off the topic, Jeffrey, but just like that blew my mind. Imagine if she died before the election. If you guys think that, like you know, waking up in America is crazy today, if you think the news cycle has gone off the hinges, imagine if Ruth Bader Ginsburg died and there was a vacancy in the Supreme Court.
You would see the alien overlords because there'll be so much anarchy.
You would see the Kavanaugh. Imagine 12 Kavanaughs. That's what it would be. I don't know if I even want
That's
her.
Like those type of like
not one, obviously,
headlines bring you back to earth, and there's so many issues that we have to do as a society. Like I feel like we have to cure homelessness, we have to cure hunger. And that's the answer is definitely not back and forth between the ideology of communism versus capitalism. Like the aliens are looking at these key like factors in society and they're seeing, oh, they're still in the phase of modernism where they're swinging between social issues. and they're not at the stage of like interplanetary galactic thing. That's why like people like Elon Musk are pushing society in one way.
Intergalactic.
Yeah.
To bounce off of that really quickly, and this is not related to aliens whatsoever, but you just got me thinking again. I don't know if this is still a true statistic, but at one point there were more vacant buildings, like apartments, houses, in the United States than there were homeless people.
When? What year?
I couldn't tell you the year off the top of my head. I want to say I saw this statistic around like 2014-ish.
Oh, it's a recent history.
But how sad does that make you feel when you read that?
I guess, yeah, but that's just the allocation of capital. Like, you can't really fix that unless you seize people's property. Like, people have vacation homes and things like that.
No, I'm talking about vacant homes.
Oh.
Like homes that like are on Zillow that people are trying to like get you to come in. Like mostly apartment buildings.
But that's just like float. Like, there might be a couple million homeless people, and like there's apartments and condos on float. Like let's say like someone leased something for 2 years, and now the person's looking for the next tenant. It could be vacant for 2 months before they find a new tenant.
Well,
is that the landlord's responsibility to take on that homeless person and they trash the walls? You know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying like these poor landlords, by the way, that are making.
Not poor, but you know.
yeah, but
put
no, I wasn't
in their shoes.
No, I'm not talking about messing with landlords or anything like that.
Yeah.
What I'm really referring to is the situation of probably 2006, the housing boom, when people were making more houses than they could sell. Then there was more population in the U.S. and nothing like really changed since then. The population got up a bit since 2006, but not enough to fill all those houses. And hey, we've still been making more of them. You and I live in Florida. If you go by the Hard Rock Casino, you'll see rows and rows of apartment buildings that are empty. Like, there are apartment buildings that have one tenant. Does this make any sense to you? Like, anybody?
In China, there's giant ghost cities. So, like, it's just like everything about society is not efficient. Like,
exactly. So if anybody tells you that there's nothing we can do about homeless people, that we have to let them sleep under overpasses or sleep in parks, it's a lie. It's a lie. We don't need Skid Rows in this country. We have more houses than we know what to do with. More apartments than we know what to do with.
They should just keep building houses, because then it would bring down the price.
We have enough already.
There's a lot of places with housing shortages. Like San Francisco, there's building.
Well, you're talking now about regional housing shortages. I'm talking about absolute numbers.
Oh yeah, absolute numbers. Like there's in China where there's like 50 million vacant.
Exactly.
In one city.
And there's smaller examples of that all over the U.S. and it's kind of crazy.
The world over the span of decades will sort itself out, and people like the ghost cities in China, like after 10, 15 years, they start to fill up. Like they make exact replicas.
Well, yeah, because the population is going to grow.
They move in, and there's more reasons to be there.
Right.
If they build it, they'll come. Like the Romans did that, and civilization will do that for as long as time comes.
What's different about, and that's a great example actually, what's different about a thing like the Romans and ancient or older civilizations like that, not even that long ago, is that the idea before was you have this plot of land, if you settle that land and then you cultivate off of it, and then you pay us back, obviously, from that cultivation, and then you pay forward to the markets with the carrots you made or whatever, barley, then that's like your place. And then your children will live there, and their grandchildren will then move out and get somewhere else. Like, it was a whole system. Now it's like $50,000 down payment, sir, please.
Yeah, like
It's gone crazy.
That's another thing. Just even in the 1800s, you were able to move out west and claim like a place in Colorado. This 10 acres is mine. Like if you wanted to, you could go out there and claim a part of your life. That's why people that are born in this generation, they feel like, oh, I have nothing to show for it. Like you're gonna have to be indebted to society, $200,000 for your student thing.
Everybody,
there's no plot of land designated for me.
Everybody who is in that bottom 40% in high school or less, they don't need the college education. They don't need the technical education. They certainly don't need the Mike McDonald's job. They need to do what people were doing in the 1880s. Going out west, once you realize that those skill sets weren't your own skill sets. Go out west and go here, 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 here.
That's mine.
and then plant your flag essentially. And that was not only okay; it was encouraged back then. We
All
need
the
to
land is already
reopen
bought
something
now.
like that. Yeah, but it's all. You know how much Teddy Roosevelt did to ruin that? Like
They sold off all the
80
land.
million acres in national preserve. Do you think
Yeah.
that sounds right to anybody?
Well, it's also to preserve it because imagine if like that land was split up and you had a bunch of shanty towns all over a national park, like it would look disgusting.
Well, you don't have shanty towns in the Midwest. They're
Yeah, but those
they're
are
log
land,
cabins.
like,
They're log cabins.
designated for
I
that.
want log cabins out there, and I want people like hunting
It's
bunnies
just a
and
different
rabbits.
system. Like in West Texas, you can get like large amounts of desert for like 10 grand, like tens of acres for $10,000. It's just there won't be power line, there won't be this. In Arizona, there's like parts that are undesirable. You can get your own little homestead. It just costs like tens of thousands of dollars to build a tiny home.
That's probably
Set
the
up a
thing that's the
septic
most
tank,
disgusting.
capture rainwater.
Yeah, that's probably the thing that's been most disgusting to me over the last like 50 years is the lack of money that you're reinvesting in the country and you're sending out on to all the other parts of the world that
Yeah.
aren't related to the benefit of your people and your society. I think that's been
Yeah.
the most shocking thing is the trillions that have gone overseas and not stayed
Moved
here.
away. Like
Yeah.
let's say I decide to live on my 10-acre homestead in Texas. Like I order all these parts. Probably less than 50% of the parts for everything I need, the cement, bricks, the pipes, are made in America. So all that GDP,
Right.
like the addition that I did to the overall wealth of the country, of like building a home that's good for like that can support me and whoever's with me, and let's say it's a homestead, so I set up like a tree farm or a carrot farm, whatever example you were giving.
Yes.
Like all that, like I'm buying seeds from another country. The steel could be coming from China. Like a lot of the GDP is sucked out and moved to other countries, but that's just like businessmen that sold it short.
We're speaking about a very
These are, like, local
Ayn
issues.
Randian philosophy
Yeah.
of living your life, like going out with your Winchester,
Yeah.
and your family, and getting in the station wagon and picking a spot. You know what I mean? And moving in.
Yeah, but those type of opportunities aren't available. But I literally think that the government should pick like North Dakota and just start dividing up blocks of land because like there's nothing out there.
No, first we have to give North Dakota back or South Dakota back to the American Indians, and then we can start worrying about everyone
Maybe,
else.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just to settle that issue, but
Yeah, right.
maybe they should do something like that. Oh, I'm about to give. These are like global issues, like. To get back to the title of the podcast of Alien, like human society and
Well, this is like
needs
a
to
mini-
solve these global issues before they make contact.
Well, yeah, that's why we're talking about this now. In case it's unclear, we're saying what we need to do as a civilization for aliens to consider us.
contact.
Yeah, to think
Yeah.
we're ready. If this theory is
Yeah.
true, of course.
To make peace with China, we should trade like Portland or Seattle or San Francisco for Hong Kong. Because the people in Hong Kong are waving
I love
American
this guy
flags.
sometimes.
The people in Hong Kong are waving American flags.
You know what
and
we're
the
gonna
people
do?
in Portland are waving communist flags.
You know we're
It's
gonna
perfect.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a 10-minute commercial break. We're gonna go back.
With no commercial.
Get some get some water, chill. We'll see you guys when we come back. I think when we come back, we're going to start talking about the negative side of a foreign civilization, an alien civilization, if they are in fact evil and want to destroy us, and as you said, harvest
And
us for our fluids.
And organs.
All right,
Like
guys.
cattle,
We'll be-
hamburger, human hamburger.
We'll be back in 10.
What's up?
Welcome back to the Postal Podcast. I'm your host, Cryptic, and this here to my left is my co-host, Jeffrey.
I'm gonna finish this off.
Bang, bro.
I'm out.
Long
This
Island
is
man.
good. This is the
with
first
the
time I ever
beardo.
had this.
I'm glad.
It's really nice.
Sponsor us, Bang. We'll
I'm
do
looking
whatever
up
you want
a
for us.
bigger SD card right now, just because I feel like the 2-hour one might not fit on this.
Beautiful, beautiful,
We need
beautiful.
all the equipment we can get. Hit me with some questions, bro. I
Beautiful.
know
We
you
are
always ponder this stuff.
we are live right now, of course.
Oh yeah, I know.
And we teased you guys a little bit previously talking about the alien race that will one day potentially come to destroy planet Earth. we teased you guys by saying that when we come back, we're going to talk about the alternative.
Yeah.
No alien UN. Or if there once was, that this nation rose up and destroyed it. I think you referred to alien Adolf Hitler.
Oh, and the last before? Yeah, it's possible that could happen.
Or Hirohito. Alien Hirohito, Mussolini, Pinochet, alien versions of those people. They're evil, okay? They have no intentions of doing anything good with us. The only reason they haven't come here yet is either A, they haven't found us yet, or B, we don't have any resources that they want just quite yet. But when we do, they're coming.
Yeah, it's all about a point of time. Like, they could want resources in like 100 years from now, or they're sending an armada of ships and it's going to arrive in like 500 years.
So let me play the situation out for you for a little bit, because I'm actually really curious what would happen. Because think about it, if something like this happens, you don't have time to do, like with the immigration debate or healthcare. You don't have time to spend 2 decades going back and forth,
Yeah.
Republican, Democrat, Independent. You have to just act. So Jeffrey, pretend you're President of the United States who just became appointed the lead horse on this matter.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeffrey.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like General. Like, sir, aliens have just landed in right outside in the deserts of Las Vegas. All right. They're opening their capsule doors. They're armed and heavily dangerous, and they've already killed some local cattle and cattle farmers. What do we do, sir? First thing.
Well, first try to make contact, and if they don't respond...
Well, no, we'll do one thing at a time, All right, so we're going to make contact, right?
Ladies?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Some gummy bears. One thing at a time. So we're making contact. All right, so we sent an emissary to them, and the emissary was shot and killed. And they cut off his head and put it in a pink box with a red bow on it, and sent it right back to Washington D.C. And you open it up in the Oval Office, and it's a whole dramatic scene.
Well, I would say, how many ships did they send? If they kill like
Just
one person,
It's like a squadron. It's like you know how like an ant, before he sends his whole mother load in there, there's one ant with like a heat, like a scent. You know about ants?
yeah,
They have pheromones that they make a trail, and he'll come in here, and if it's an abandoned house, then he'll leave and send no pheromones. But if it has what we have here, a bunch of junk food around, he's like, it's go time. So we have the pheromone ant, basically, the civilization that came down. They killed our emissary. Now what? One thing at a
If
time.
there's only one ship, you shoot a nuke at it.
We're nuking the ship?
Yeah, because he killed someone. It's a hostile ship.
I know it's a hostile ship, but it's sitting right over Las Vegas.
There's only one of them, then nuke it. If they did anything hostile, you have to do hostile
But
back.
it's standing right over Las Vegas.
You know, like Reagan was funny. I thought you were gonna lead me down a different path, but it was still a decent path. I think Reagan in the 1980s, he like invented like a Star Wars plan, and he called up Khrushchev.
STI is what it was called.
Yeah, and they designed like a thing. Oh, if aliens come, because they had the information for 40 years since Roswell. Oh, there's aliens.
Yeah, it's called like defensive missile programs.
Yeah, so if
Israel
there's a big
has some.
mothership
Israel
coming,
has
you
this.
send 8 nukes from all the thing and just blow it up before it even gets into the atmosphere.
All right, so we just nuked the ship. The ship has crashed onto
Yeah.
Las Vegas, destroying several portions of downtown Las Vegas, and also the radiation coming off the nuke has basically been like 3 Hiroshimas on the area of Las Vegas.
Jesus Christ.
What happens next, Mr. President?
We celebrate. We say mission accomplished. We have a big banner, just like George Bush. That was a good response, right?
Oh God. like your little USS Jeffrey is going right by California and Nevada as the radiation
Yeah.
leaks across the Midwest.
Across the bay.
Jesus Christ.
That's the answer. What would have to happen?
All right.
Hopefully they would be peaceful and they didn't kill our emissary or whatever you said.
Well, no,
Diplomat.
but see this situation is with the bloodthirsty one that you were talking about, the one that wants to eat us. All right, so the pheromone ant, he lost his ship, but he's still not dead yet because he wasn't on the ship. He came down. It was just kind of hovering up in like standby mode. So now he's very upset. He's going across Nevada, taking out whatever he finds left.
Oh, you have to capture him alive.
How do we capture him, sir?
Shoot a laser beam at him, like we were talking in the first half of the hour.
And blind them like they're doing now.
Yeah, blinding the police officers.
Import.
So try to blind
We're
like
blinding the
blind
alien.
like the senses on the ship and just shoot as many lasers as you can. Like, but don't like shoot missiles at the ship because like you have to capture this guy alive.
No,
and
the
get as
ship
much
was already
information
down.
on
That
him.
already happened. That's already too late.
And then I would immediately ramp up nuke production and like put it on SpaceX missiles so we could shoot them.
All right. So you think
off
that
this
they'll?
Earth.
So now you're shooting lasers at this man.
Yeah.
Like a secret laser program designed only for these aliens, and it's
this is
able to.
like an EMP laser, so
It's
shoots
able
all
to.
the
It's able to
mechanicals
kill
on
him, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll
And
give you
take
that
out
one.
the ship. We don't want to kill him. We want to take him alive.
Oh, so you
we
just
can
want
get
him.
We want to interrogate.
You want him
Is there more ships
discombobulated.
coming? When's the next wave?
You don't know. I don't offer you information. Information just happens. So
All right.
so he's captured right now. Okay, you've
I was
discombobulated
able to
him,
capture him.
and you threw a net over him or something.
Okay.
Now he's in like
Like
a
the
thousand.
Independence scene where Will Smith
Like you go into the
puts him in a
Pentagon.
parachute. to
Like you
see
go
it.
into the Pentagon and like you go down like 1,000 flights and he's there, like in
Okay.
Starship Trooper.
Okay.
All right, now what do you? Now you're there, and you come out all from the shadows, all dramatic
And I
like,
get to ask questions.
and you're like, Mr. Asshole, what brings you to planet Earth? Yeah, you
I would
got,
ask him like, why'd you come, and when's the next wave, and why? What are you trying to accomplish by being here? Like, what are you trying to take from us?
and to that he responds, he doesn't speak English. He has no understanding.
There's
of what
no
you're
way
saying.
of communicating with him at all.
Not yet.
No Rosetta Stone, no nothing.
You got the Silicon Valley guys. They're working on it. It's gonna take a couple days though.
Yeah, they make a Siri or an Alexa out of his voice.
Yeah, so you leave the bunker completely disappointed, but you had no way of communicating with this foul beast. But then 3 days later, the Silicon Valley folks, they get you your Rosetta Stone. Now you're back there. Now you want to know. So what was the first question? We take them one at a time.
Why'd you come here? What's your objective?
To harvest you. We're what it's called, a predator species, just like the predators, and you look tasty. And
How
we also
far-
want your resources. We want the core of your Earth.
How far are you from here, and how long did it take you to get here?
I'll never tell you that information.
When's the next wave coming?
I'll never tell you that information.
Then I just
You're
have
gonna,
to.
you're gonna have to try to
I have to
waterboard
put. I
me.
put missiles.
You're gonna have to try to waterboard
I
me.
harvest like we sign a pact with China and Russia to harvest all the Earth's uranium and put it on SpaceX missiles that it can go like past the moon. Because anything that comes within the solar system should be shot down.
So the interrogation didn't go very well because you were unwilling to use enhanced interrogation techniques. So you left the interrogation spot, and now you're setting a missile defense program across the globe.
But I would put it on other planets because we don't want the destruction
You
of the
put it
Las
on
Vegas
moon,
desert.
moon too,
Yeah, we don't want that destruction of an entire city.
not a planet.
If we shoot the
crater.
nuke and it's already in our atmosphere, it's gonna do damage. We want to shoot it as far off.
Yeah,
as
so you've
possible.
learned your lesson from Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
yeah.
You-
I got political blowback for the mission accomplished banner.
and the
I
mil-
learned my lesson.
and the millions dead. Actually, I'm very curious about this. While I have to charge my computer here,
Oh,
let's
shit.
see how many population of Greater Las Vegas.
I estimate 4 or 5 million.
So you've
2
killed,
million,
so you've
that's
killed
a
2
little.
million. I think that's the metropolitan area. Yeah, you've
Just
killed
the city or the entire
the
suburbs?
metro area. Yeah.
Look up the entire suburbs.
Oh, I'll try.
Or that's the question you already asked. 2 million people is not that much.
Las
For a
Vegas,
place where-
Las Vegas Valley. That'll probably be a bit better answer, right?
Where a place where prostitution and gambling is legal, you would think there'd be
No,
more
just
people living there.
2.2 million.
That's very little. The home
Because
values
those are
going
because those
really
are
up
residents,
there.
though. You understand?
Yeah. So let's say there's a saying about real estate in Las Vegas. If it doesn't have a pool, it's like impossible to sell. Like a pool adds like $100,000 of
Quote
value.
that. Cite that.
Yeah.
Cite that source. Who said that?
Just real estate's all over that area.
Oh,
Like,
that's not like a thing.
A $30,000. It's a common saying, but I didn't make that saying up. But like a $30,000 value of a pool. Like let's say you build a pool for $30,000, like your house will be worth like $100,000 more. But like pools are maintenance costs too. Like if you're planning on renting out your pool, or no, not your pool, renting out the whole house, like who's covering the monthly $200 cost of a pool guy and heating the pool and the chlorine and cleaning out the pool? Like is your tenant paying that from their like?
Well, nobody's
$2,000
paying it now
amount?
because Las Vegas is
Yeah.
a ghost town.
Yeah, I guess with the tourism. Yeah, you're right.
No, with the multiple nukes you set off there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the city blocks. Oh, we're still in the fictional world.
Yeah.
Got it.
That place is done for.
Yeah, the housing boom literally popped like a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, it's just a crater there.
That's sad.
I know. You were too hasty in your
Yeah.
thinking, Mr. President. But anyway,
At least I saved us.
the people are still from just the one ant.
ship.
So okay, so now you've set up all your nukes right around the planet.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've said that you want to put them on some other planets. All right. So now the alien that you have locked up, he has a distress signal beacon whenever he's captured, and so the distress signal beacon came out,
God, all right.
and now his population. Well, you know, when he knew what was happening, he hit the thing.
Yeah.
So he knows. So now his fleet is coming out. They I don't know, like a fifth of their fleet they send to fix this situation. Now that we know we're not pushovers, essentially. We're talking about 300 ships now, and we're talking about maybe 3 times that in manpower. So you got about 900 predators and 300 of these ships, right?
Well, I have my nukes set up. I have my moon-based nukes.
Mr. President, they're coming around the bend. They're almost at
How
Mars.
soon did they come? Like within a
Well,
couple
they have
weeks?
warp speed.
Did they come in weeks or years? Like.
Well, when they saw the distress signal,
Did you
it was
see
about a
the
week.
first Independence Day movie, then the second one? They came out with a second one recently. Did you see those movies?
Did I see the whole Independence Day? Maybe.
Like where they put the big ship coming in and then they shoot a laser beam.
This is
down,
no Independence
blow
Day,
up the
sir.
hole.
This is real
Okay.
life.
Well, like the second wave of
So it came in
aliens-
a week. You had a week to prepare.
Oh, then I'm screwed.
No,
Then I
I'll
don't have my moon base.
no. Well, you have enough. I'll give you your moon base. Okay. They haven't discovered warp speed yet. Okay.
Okay, so I shoot as many nukes at them from the moon as possible.
Okay.
Can I say I wipe out half their fleet? Is
How
that
many? Well, how
reasonable?
many nukes are there in the planet right now? Let's Google that.
10,000, I think, or like 11,000 nukes.
nukes
There's at least 11,000 on the whole Earth.
the world? Let's see.
China and America.
And remember,
are the
these
number
have
one.
to be warheads that are operational.
Yeah, yeah.
I should probably add that.
The amount of nukes right now are actually being built up. Under Donald Trump, like the past 2 years, like there's been a mini arm race with Russia. Like they scaled back thousands of nukes since the Cold War, but now the
This is going to make you very upset. There are approximately 3,750 active nuclear warheads.
in the
and
whole world or the United
yes,
States.
the whole world. And 13,890 total of nuclear warheads in the world. So there's another
13,000 in the whole
10K,
world.
another 10K
It was
that
close.
you
I said
could
12,000,
that you could make
11,000.
operational.
Then you said there's only 600 ships.
Yeah, I know.
I'm good.
One nuke doesn't take out the ship. They're so big and bulky.
What do you mean? If one nuke, one 1940s nuke takes out a whole city.
Yeah, but these are alien technology. You gotta
how big are
understand.
these ships?
They're huge. They're like starship cruisers. So how about this? I'll say
13,000
five.
nukes.
I'll say 5 nukes takes out one ship.
I still have enough. Do the math. 600 times 5.
600
And I
times
have
5
a-
is what?
Like 23,000.
3,000.
Yeah, and I have 13,000 nukes.
So you use 5,000 nukes to take out 600 ships or 300 ships.
3,000 nukes to take out 600
Yeah,
ships.
3,000 nukes to take out 300 ships. Now the guys have disembarked. It's like D-Day, right? Because they know that their ships are going to get taken out. They've disembarked in those little rover things, and
Yeah.
they've come across. They've stormed the beach. Now they're here. They're on their way. They're in their little escape pods once they realized that everything was going to go to hell on the ship, and now they're coming down. Mr. President, now what do? We have about 900 of these things
You
coming
get
at us.
like all CBS and all the cable companies to like kamikaze all the space junk around Earth to like hit into ships as they enter the.
CBS.
Yeah, like all the news stations have all those satellites around the Earth. So all that space junk is kind of like a force field. Like we should
Final answer?
we should push like satellites into
Final answer?
into UFOs as they enter.
All right, final
Wait,
answer.
and
Final answer.
we use all the Navy ships and we scramble all the jets.
All right, jets have been scrambled. CBS has been contacted. So, Mr. President, you've taken out about a good 300 of the 900 that were coming, but unfortunately now we've lost GPS communications because of your
You bastard.
your plans to use satellites as
It's
weapons.
kamikazes.
It's a scorched earth tactic, okay? Hannibal did this very famously in his attacks on Rome and Pompey and all that.
From Carthage with the elephants, is that who you're talking about?
That is Hannibal. So we talked to Les Munevs,
What?
the CEO of CBS, Jim Lanzon. We spoke to him. He was cool with the idea, and
I'm not kamikazing the military ones. I'm doing like the.
well, you
the
didn't say
exercise.
that before.
I just said the media satellite.
No, you just said we'll contact CBS.
I'm not. I wouldn't be that stupid.
Unfortunately, we're out of GPS, and also people can't watch Showtime anymore. But continue from where we are. So now we're here, but we don't have GPS. We still have everything else, though. We have guns and stuff, and there's 600 of them.
I mean, it just depends what the fighters. How many fighters do the fighters get slaughtered?
No. Oh, you mean your planes?
Yeah, I
A
scrambled
couple of them got slaughtered. How many planes do you think there are in the U.S. today? Like 10,000 fighters?
No, I would say in the thousands, maybe 2,000-3,000.
I'd say you lost about like 700.
But the whole world, I would like Russia, all those cold
Yeah,
world.
you lost
those
like
are my
40% of your.
I think
fleet.
we would survive this wave, and then it would definitely come down to the third wave.
So what happened then? So then
because
you
the
used
first wave was only
the
one
aliens.
ship. Like the more time we have to prepare, the better. Because like my nuclear production is ramping up.
So you used lasers to take out the remaining 600, or just
Yeah.
what was it? Just like battle for Las
Cruise
Vegas,
missiles, everything.
like ship to ship or house to house.
Yeah, all
basically.
those F-18 fighters have missiles on them, and they're chasing these things down.
All right, they're chasing them down. I'm gonna say that they were able to take back about a half or 75%
Yeah.
of the Las Vegas territory. So now whatever's remaining that didn't get killed off from this jet and this what did she say? This satellite bombardment that they hit coming down here.
With those satellites.
Yeah, they have like a little encampment now in Nevada.
Well, since you blew up the mothership.
Now you have a
from the
couple
moon base,
options.
right? And now
Yes.
it's just these little tiny little ships. Like they need reinforcements. Like we're gonna be able to do guerrilla warfare. Like
Yeah.
we only lost maybe a couple extra cities.
So our planes go overhead now, and taking images of what's going on, and they see that the aliens are
Send in the
developing.
V2s.
They're developing a pipeline to go straight down to the Earth's core and take that energy back,
Take the lava
store it into capacities, and take it back to their
Gotta
own
nuke
planet
the base.
with a nuke. So, but we've run out of nukes. We've used the nukes for now.
No, I only used like half of them. You told me. Remember, we did the math.
Oh no, but so how many nukes did you want to
You
use?
messed up. You gave me a low amount of motherships. I only used like 5,000 nukes out of 13,000.
Well, you need to get the other ones operational. That takes time.
Yeah, but I have a. There was 1 week between
you're
the
getting-
first one ship and the like 600.
Yeah,
ships.
exactly. So you're waiting for those to get operational. That's your plan. Because I was going to give
Then
you.
I send in the stealth bombers, those black bombers, and I just bomb the encampment.
So you're just
There's
bombing
only a
their
couple
encampments.
hundred ships left.
Yes, there's only.
So
Well, they
I'm
only have
good.
pods left,
It
basically.
depends how much the next wave. If the next wave doesn't come for 200 years,
But hold on. You have
then
some
I can
options.
prepare.
You have some options. You see them building their tunnel system, right?
I actually like this conversation, not to cut you off, because it makes me feel like the Earth was prepared for like an invasion.
Uh huh.
Like I feel like we can defend ourselves now.
Okay. But here's the thing. They're building their tunnel system, right? You have a couple options. A, you wait for more of the nukes to be activated from their Cold War state. B, you send in the stealth bombers that you wanted to.
Okay.
C, you send in the military, like manpower.
Mhm.
Or D, you send another emissary to try to make peace with them
Negotiate.
now. Yeah, like now that they respect us.
Because like I bombarded all their motherships, they thought they would like slaughtered.
Yeah, like
90% of them.
they can't go home right away.
They realize that
They're stuck right now for a little bit.
Reinforcements are gonna take. How long do I have till the next wave?
A month.
I think it's doomed for us then. We don't have enough time to catch up to them. Like, we need, like, years to reverse their technology and then get the same weapons they have. So then I would say that it's game over.
Well, we'll play it out for a little bit, though.
Alright.
We have time. So you have the 5 options. What do you want to do?
In just a month, you have to do, like, Operation Warp Speed and, like, get all their technology.
So you're gonna
make guns with them and stuff like that, and weapons.
So you're gonna just like send your best scientists across the globe into like a big base somewhere under Fort Knox and like make them like build you technology.
Like 5 miles deep into the Earth's crust, so no like nuke could kill them.
And they have like a blank check to make like any technology that you want. Okay.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it, and hopefully a month is enough time. I feel like the nukes are like the OP weapon because you can just shoot a mothership out of the sky, you know.
Yeah,
so
you can. It just
like
takes 3 or 5 nukes to do it.
The like Roswell was immediately, and it was the same area of the test sites. I feel like I was talking about earlier, like when you look in on a planet, like these aliens definitely have like atomic capability. Like they probably have like a map of the whole universe, and they can see like, oh, there was an atomic artificial reaction of splitting of an atom here, and like that's like the calling, and it sent off radio waves and stuff, and like that was the calling for people to come here and send little probes to check us out around Roswell. And I think that was like the big shift between one of the big factors they consider if like before they make contact, if a civilization can produce weapons of that power, destroy itself, then like they start to send little probes to investigate you and see how it is, like the UFOs that we're seeing today and the proof that we're seeing today of them.
Okay, so you're deciding to not make contact, bide your time, and make more weapons.
Yeah, because they already came here shooting with their guns blazing, so we got to defend ourselves.
All right, and are you doing anything about the current encampment, or
you're
just letting them do their thing?
I would also build like cruise ship type rocket ships and put like 1,000 people on them and like shoot them off.
Okay.
Like make China and the Himalayas do like a 2012 type of movie, like big project, and just put humans on the ships and shoot rockets off. Because like if our planet gets wiped out, we will hope we like spread our seed to like 3 planets. Like just shoot one at Alpha Centauri.
You're saying like a starship, like a spaceship.
Yeah, build like a big starship.
Not like a ship, like a water ship.
It should have like cruise ship type of accommodations.
But it's gonna be a spaceship.
Yeah, it's gonna be a spaceship. Even like
interesting.
a couple hundred people, because the ultimate goal of our society is to like continue of humans.
Spread our
like,
seed.
Exactly. To different planets. So if they wipe this one out, we still sent like Adam and Eve ships to other planets.
All right, so we're hitting end turn on this one basically. End turn phase. We haven't come up with a name for the alien. Crap. I'm gonna call them the Kilogars. The Kilogar.
Where did you come up with that?
The Kilogars. The Kilogars. The ones that are remaining, about 300 of them. They're making their encampment very well in Nevada. They're attracted to New Mexico and Nevada for obvious reasons, as you mentioned, Roswell, and Area 51, of course. And they're continuing their base. We send ships or planes every once in a while, but they have very good weaponry, obviously, so they shoot down a good 70% of them. And you're working on your projects. One of your top scientists, Dr. Liebenfrau, he came out with a new device, right, just based on your laser theory, because you were so committed to lasers, you let them know that was your favorite thing. It is a gun, right, that does a compact disc. It takes a recharge rate of about 30 seconds, and then it does a giant plasma laser beam that can kill one of these things, but it needs a 30-second refresh time, and he has only made one so far. However,
mass production, put it on every single fighter I have.
However, it's taken a month to do this, and the let's say the 300 in New Mexico and Nevada are about 10% of the way to the Earth's core, and the motherships are right around the bend. They're coming again.
So I have
Next
like
step.
5,000 nukes left on the moon, so I'm shooting the motherships.
I'll give you okay. So the first wave, I'll say it took out 10,000 of the
So like
nuclear.
3,000 nukes left.
No, it took like
You're
10,000
just going
out.
back on the story.
No,
just
no,
to
no, no.
Fuck me worse.
No, I'm not, because I'll tell you what I forgot to mention the first
no.
time around was that not every shot is going to hit.
Okay.
We miss a lot. So I'm going to say you lost 10,000 in the first one. You have 5,000 left. You've been able to re-engineer them all to work. So now you have 5K
Did
left.
I up the capability of my nukes? Like they're on better SpaceX technology, better
I
homing
guess.
device.
I guess you only have a month. You've only so the month has passed. That's all you've had to work with, and the
But
ships
I did a
are
massive
about to
uranium
cross
mining
Mars.
when I signed a pact with China and Russia.
Well, you can't
for
add things
uranium.
after the intern phase has
No,
happened.
I did that. I mentioned that. I said we did a
Oh,
massive
you mean-
uranium.
No, you didn't say
agreement.
uranium. You said
Yes, I
that you were
did.
going to make ships with them to send people to spread the
I
seed.
said that as well, but earlier than that. I
All
said
right,
the
they
uranium
made some
pact.
uranium or something. Cool.
Yeah, we
Perfect.
we did a uranium enrichment pact.
All the supplies of uranium is completely
Because
tapped.
I did
Awesome.
a pact that this is about like the survival of
Yeah.
humans. Like it's no longer a nation of, like Russia versus
Yeah,
America
the
type
old
thing.
the old supplies
Now
of
it's us
uranium.
versus them.
The old supplies is all being used right now. We're at 100% capacity, Mr. President.
Of production. So
Yes.
how many nukes did I gain in that last month?
You in a month, I'll give you another 2,000. You're up to
So
seven. You're
7,000. Okay,
7,000.
that's fair.
All right.
All right.
All right,
So
now what?
How much?
They're
how
at
much of
Mars.
the mothership does my 7,000 nukes take out?
You can't hit them yet. They're too far. They're
I'm
only
gonna
at
wait till I
Mars.
get to the till they get to the moon.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be in the next intern
What-
phase.
So how are you gonna end this? They're just gonna come and shoot one little dot. Well, have you seen Star Trek where the evil guy just shoots one little blood bead at the drops it from the ship, one little drop of antimatter, and it just takes out the whole planet that Spock's people are from.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like the
what's
laser?
stopping these people if they have all these weapons from just doing one little planet buster at all of Earth and just knocking it out? I feel like
Because they need
There's
to.
so many
Because they need to
scenarios.
take a planet
oh,
to
they
do
need
that
to take
first.
the resources.
Well, no, they need to take it, and they need to take a resource, but they also need somewhere to line it up with. You know, they
I
don't.
guess.
they don't
Trying to
have-
make a base.
They don't have a base to put the laser on yet. That's why they might want the moon or Mars if they were smart enough to do that.
I guess, yeah.
All right, so the intern phase has come. You have your one prototype, but you only have a certain amount of resources left because the world's going pretty crazy at this point. You can either put your resources into more conventional weapons, into more nukes, or into this shoddy new thing that Dr. Liebenfrau has made for you, the plasma gun.
I'm putting all my resources on the newest thing. 'Cause
Every
that's the
single
newest.
thing. So fuck
90%.
nuke, fuck
25% nukes, 75% the little lasers.
and no conventional weapons, no tanks, no,
No.
planes, nothing. No more of those are
I'm
being
putting
built.
the lasers onto the planes.
but
'cause I
but
wanna
we're
be
not
able
building
to
any
check-
more planes.
Yeah, the ones that I have left. Yeah.
All right. So
But
during
this
the
is the number one thing I'm doing. I'm making the lasers, the new technology that I got from the aliens, the Dr. Lieben Swabba made.
yeah.
I'm putting them on as cannons and forts around cities. Every major city.
Well,
is
we'll
gonna
see.
have those.
We'll see how many you can make. I haven't decided yet.
Oh yeah, it's up to you, little bastard.
All right, but the
I'm putting all my resources.
I'm going to say
towards it.
the aliens are now 30% to the core, and the ships I said are just passing Mars now.
Why can't I nuke that base like I wanted to? The
What?
base.
Nuke their base? Because once again, you'd be hitting a civilian. I mean, you could. Do you
I'm
want to hit
doing
another
it.
civilian population?
Yeah, it's life or death.
All right, guys. Jeffrey has decided to take out the rest of Nevada and part of New Mexico.
Turn it to glass. That's what you have to do. There's nothing else. I have no other choice. What happens when they get to the center of the Earth? There could be no more Earth, and they took all the energy.
Yeah, well, see, that's why it's a race against time. So there's 2.89 million people in the state of Nevada.
There's some people in Reno, far away.
No,
The
that's,
Hoover Dam wiped out.
yeah, everything. The Nevada's gone.
I flooded
Now I'm
all
gonna
of
see New
Baja,
Mexico.
California.
It's
The
all-
Colorado River is flowing again.
It's all gone.
Did the
And
Hoover
New
Dam
Mexico was
stay up?
another 2 million. So you've lost about 4 million people plus
That's
at this
nothing.
point.
I got 350 total in the USA. Probably a couple other million casualties when all those little ships went around shooting people.
Oh yeah, you've lost a lot of military too. So anyway, so
That's
we.
what has to happen.
All right. So you've used some of your 7,000. I'm going to say like it took another 3 or 4 to take out the encampment. So now a lot of them are dead, but of course they've built tunnel systems at this point, so there's still some scragglers standing around. So I'd say you took out about 200.
I'm gonna send drones into the tunnels. With
What
nukes
kind
on
of
them.
drones?
Like helicopter drones with nukes on them. So if they shoot the drone, it just explodes in their face.
I'm
Deeper and
going
deeper into the
to.
tunnels.
I'm going to say that you were able to take out about 200 of the guys. Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So
That's good.
there's 100 left, and they're scattered like roaches right now all across the Midwest.
I feel like
causing
now
havoc.
that I've done this, I've destroyed their little base. Like I'm gonna send them a message like you can surrender. Just never come to this side of the galaxy again.
Okay, so you've decided. So we've already divided your what's it called? Your resources. How you're
Yeah.
gonna be your production. We've decided your production, but now you're for diplomacy tree. You're gonna go after the scragglers and or the mothership
Yeah.
and send them a message.
I
What does the
bombed them out of
message
their
say?
little
All right, what does the
rabbit hole.
message say?
This is a waste of resources. Is there any way we can work together?
And then they're gonna respond back. "Buka-cha-piku-pa."
What the hell does that mean?
They still don't speak English. Is the
I
problem?
thought I was able to get the Rosetta Stone with the Silicon Valley freaks.
Not with the mothership. You can talk to the scragglers though. All right, you're talking to the scragglers and you're saying to them, go somewhere else, basically, right?
Yeah.
This
No,
plan-
I'm telling them like this war is a waste of resources. Like, don't you want to stop dying?
Yeah.
I'm, like blowing them out of their little rat hole, sending nuclear drones.
And they're gonna
to
look
the
at you
tunnels.
and they're gonna be like, we know no other life than death and destruction and war. For all we want is your resource caps. Give us. We'll make, but you have shown yourself to be a mighty enemy. Give us half of Russia, and we will leave you alone.
Well,
Because
is
they want
Siberia
all the resources of
is Siberia
Siberia.
really being used? I mean,
Yeah, they want Moscow and everything to the east of that.
well, since
Will
I
you
need to
accept?
buy time, I might accept it because like I need like years of peace so I can build up and use their technology.
And then
defend
they're gonna say
ourselves.
"Buka-cha, pika-cha," and they'll accept your.
As long as they only like cut down the trees and they stop digging to the center of the earth.
Yeah, they're gonna have
I'm
like
fine
those.
with
You
that.
remember Pandora? Those things that can like cut trees off
That's fine.
twice at a time, and they can
Siberia is pretty like needs to be undensed anyway.
like. And they're so good at this because they've done it to so many populations that within like 2 weeks they've basically taken over like 90% of the resources of Siberia out of the.
So then I didn't buy myself enough time. I just made
Well,
them
they're
stronger.
they're just taking resources out. They're getting like timber, like it's a whole
But did
production.
more motherships come or like there's
The
another-
motherships. Well, we hit enter in them now. So the motherships are now at the moon's level, and they're ready to
I'm
attack
firing everything I
if
got.
given the order. But now you have a ceasefire with them.
Oh.
So they're just sitting there waiting to see what happens. It's almost like the Cuban Missile Crisis. But
I would tell them like you can't enter the atmosphere if you like make one budge like we're firing. That's honoring the peace agreement.
okay, but they
But I'm
blocked.
still building up the nukes.
Yeah, but right now, for now, they're blockaded. The
moon?
The Earth. They have like every
they take one
every
step
like
for-
400 miles, they have like a thing. you
Yeah.
know?
If they take one step further, we fire missiles. The remaining.
So it's a legit Cuban Missile Crisis then.
Yeah, but we're gonna use
Dude,
that to buy
interesting.
time.
I did not think that this story would go this way.
Well, you sort of let it that way. I just answered the right questions.
No, because I'll tell you what. Because had you answered differently, I told you it's a choose your own adventure. Had you answered differently at the start,
Yeah.
this whole thing would have turned out differently, or it could have.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest factor of the story was the first invasion was only one ship. If they sent hundreds of ships in the beginning, like we would have lost more cities than Las Vegas.
Well, no, because if they sent hundreds, then you would have seen them coming.
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, now they have half of Russia. Things are somewhat amicable, okay? But
Okay.
you're also hearing reports that these I forget even the scallywags, whatever we called them,
You had
have
such a good name and you forgot
are
it.
shooting the Chechens now,
Okay.
and they're having little border disputes. You know what I
We
mean?
have to make the cost of life. Like, is it a couple is it one village of 20 people, or is it tens of thousands of humans?
Yeah, like they slowly like expand out because like the Chechens like see them and they don't know what they are and they get freaked
Yeah.
out and then they kill them. Like it's very like Native American
I was
settler
thinking
right
less
now.
of Chechnya, more like middle of Siberia, like.
Well, those people
nowhere.
were pretty much wiped out when they got there. They can't
I
live
guess,
together. Yeah, they had to be like
It's complicated.
yes, they had to be what's it called? They were refugees right away. So we're at a stalemate essentially.
Yeah, I'm just buying time. I'm building up my nuke production, and then if they make one move,
They can
I'll
see
shoot.
that you're building up the nuke production,
That's
by
fine.
the way.
I'm like,
And they're worried.
by this time,
They
like,
keep sending you letters saying, "Our spies see that you're building up new productions. Is everything okay?"
I feel
Question
like
mark.
the allies that are shooting against this civilization.
They've
as
learned
well-
English now, by the way.
Okay, that's
So
good.
that you guys
They
can
understand me now.
Yeah, and they can send you letters
Well,
now.
I feel like since I've been attacked, like the United Nations of aliens that we were talking about earlier, like sent me contacts, and the allies, like fighting against this overreaching civilization, has made contact, and they're gonna
Yeah,
shoot
these
the
are like
technology.
this is like the Nazis of the.
Yeah, like
No, not the Nazis. They're more like the
Axis
Genghis
powers.
Khan. They're Genghis
yeah,
Khan
yeah,
right
it's
now.
going. So there's gonna be like some formation, and I'm gonna get help from other people. Like they're gonna approach me, and like the like Galactic Federation of like the universe will approach me and be like, "Oh,
Is
these are
there-
the evil actors, and here's some help."
Damn, is there a Galactic Federation? All right.
Well,
you
if there's
hold
a
on.
hostile, there has to be.
Hold on. All right, no, there doesn't have to be. Okay, so we're gonna roll right now a 12-sided die. If you get a number
Where's the
between
dice?
1,
Okay.
if you get a number between 1 and 4, then there are a civilization out there like a UN, and they will help you. If you get a number between 5 and 8, then they exist, but they don't want to help you. And if it's 9 through 12, then they don't exist, and you're on your own.
Okay.
Alexa, roll a 12-sided die for me.
7.
So what does that mean? They don't help me,
7 means that they're there, but they don't help you.
but they sent me
Yeah.
some information. Like at least.
Well, you know they
there's other-
exist. Yeah.
But that's good. So I could like potentially
You're,
get some information from
you know,
this
you
and-
can like level up in Fallout New Vegas and
Yeah.
stuff, and get like your
I got a
speech
little
up.
experiment.
Your 100 speech wasn't high enough. You had to get
Oh.
100 for this one. This was the boss battle. You didn't have 100 speech
I was
or
close.
persuasion. Yeah, you had
At
like
least
90.
they exist because people are like viewing these atrocities.
They
Maybe
exist.
like they're gonna send like a Noah's Ark type thing to like preserve our DNA and like take a couple of us. I don't know.
That might be.
That's like a good thing because it's not just us versus them. There's like
So do you want to?
Third-party
So what do
actors.
you want to do? Do you want to attack the motherships? Because let's say I'm giving you like 3 intern phases has happened, right? And you've already made your contact. They're already here on planet Earth. You have more, like a good amount of nukes. You have 7,000 left, I think. Do you attack them, or do you just pray for that Noah's Ark scenario?
well, I need to build myself up in all the time I have because at any moment they could slip and get bored of Siberia and start attacking me.
Okay.
So I would enter up like let's say I like now 300 civilizations are in my contact list from just meeting the UN. I would ask all of them like, hey, we'll give you all the copper on our planet if you like defend us.
That's a sweet move.
Yeah, something like that. Or we'll give you all the silver on our planet if you like are our mercenaries for like 50 years. Like
So you're trading silver for what?
just like like for protection.
So you want to get like 2,000 like alien mercs basically from the UN
Yeah.
once the UN said that they will not help you.
Yeah, I just I
You spoke
contact
to
all
one-
the
you spoke to
individual
one- yeah,
consulates.
yeah. All right.
I offer like we'll give you all of the iron on our planet.
All right. And so now we're gonna roll a 6-sided die. If it's 1 through 3, then they're not willing to help you. If it's 4 through 6,
Jesus.
then they're willing to help you. Alexa, roll a 6-sided die.
Please. I have to ask her again.
Alexa, roll a 6-sided die.
4 through 6. 4 through 6.
I don't know that.
Alexa, roll a dice.
3.
3.
So they
Nobody helped.
were
me.
not willing to help you. I'm sorry, Jeffrey.
That's
so
just
you-
my luck.
So, okay, we have to hit end turn here. This is like the 7th round. Are we firing the nukes or not?
Yeah.
Are we firing the nukes, Mr.
have to,
General
yeah,
or Mr.
usually.
President? All right. Doop, doop. We should get. Oh my God. I should get the
It's
Modern
fine.
Warfare 2 thing.
Yeah, that would be a good sound clip. Just imagine it.
We literally just like came up with this idea. Next time I feel like we should do like planned out version of
Once
this.
you get far deep into it, you can have a soundboard and press the soundboard. Yeah.
All
I
right.
blew them outside of the moon, not on Earth.
Yeah, you shot at them.
That's
So
good. Most of my cities are intact.
all right. So one more time. 12-sided die. 1 through 4 means that you killed them all. 5 through 8
I feel
means
like I'm
that
gonna get lucky.
means that some of them there was more of a stalemate, but that you're kind of on the good side. And then 9 through 12 means that they won out in the battle of the thing.
How many ships are left in the last scenario?
Well, they won. So you don't have any nukes left, but they still have ships.
How many left? Like not.
I'll decide
10%
after I
left?
get my answer.
What?
Alexa, roll a 12-sided die.
12.
Alexa
not fair.
hates you, man.
She's
No,
been
because
listening to me
you know
the
why
past
I
couple
sw-
days and she hates me. That's
Yeah,
what it
you've been
is.
saying some really crazy stuff the last couple of days. You know what it is, though? I felt like bad that I would just kept like deciding on the thing. I'm like, that's not fair. Let's leave it to chance. Like
Yeah.
like Two-Face, Harvey Two-Face. Let's leave it to chance, you know?
What a great movie.
And so, but this was worse than what I ever could have imagined. I was being too nice to you, it turns out. All right, so that, well, not.
Can I just lose already?
I was about to. No, literally, you like paused me from. So, so round 7 turning to round 8, Jeffrey went with the nuclear option, and he was hostile. To be fair, to a very hostile people, and they ended up deciding.
Overpowering my nukes.
They
after
ended
two
up.
waves. Of
They ended up overpowering us and becoming the overlords of the world and deciding to go in and take our resources.
But the human
But-
race didn't end because the UN was
Hold
saving
on.
our species.
Hold on.
Like
So this
the
is called
DNA of
this
the
is called the
species.
epilogue. So even though Jeffrey failed, there's still a chance here. Heads, we got saved. Our race got saved by the UN, and they brought our species to another planet to like repopulate. It's an Adam and Eve story all over again. Tails, we were left to the crisp, cold wasteland of the universe. Alexa, flip a coin.
It's tails.
No!
I have such bad luck. I hope they pick that up on the thing. That's the end of civilization.
Oh,
My
God.
luck is so bad.
Oh, God.
I gotta throw Alexa off, like, because I know the CIA is listening. So
Yeah.
I give her one crazy thing.
I know.
Alexa, how do you build a pipe bomb?
You can't be serious.
She said you can't be serious.
Did you actually have you done that before?
Yeah, once a week I say something crazy to her, so it throws off my FBI agent.
I think this puts him on even more, no?
Well, at this point, it doesn't matter, you know. I'm already
It's like
keeping
it's
it
like
all.
Alexa, add the anarchist cookbook to my Amazon shopping cart.
That's a good one. I didn't think of that.
I think on that note, we thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us.
Terminando.
Thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us. We hope you enjoyed this. If you're watching this on Twitch, send a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, send us a like and a subscribe.
Some questions. What else we should
And,
talk
and
about?
questions, yeah, because we're running out of ideas here. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, anything
That's
else?
it.
And we might be going on to Spotify streaming or Apple
This is
streaming.
soon.
Let us know what you guys think about this. And as always, guys.